right, we got some brand new information about Battle Mode 1.0 is oncoming, and there's some details in here that we have not heard before. Now, this information, for some reason, is not on the web, and it is also not in the Steam client. Looks like it's available in the app on your phone in the news section, and so we're going to go over it. And there's some details here that I think are amazing, and I actually am really hyped about this. Marvel Snap will release version 1.0 of his brand new competitive mode in just a few weeks. As we put the final touches on this beta feature, here's deeper insight from Associate Design Director at Second Dinner, Kent Eric Hagman. Introducing Battle Mode. When designing Marvel Snap, it was absolutely critical to us to make it the most fun, accessible card battle ever. We wanted a card battle anyone could get into so that more people than ever before could experience just how fun card games are. But that was just the beginning. We also wanted an ultra competitive way to play against friends, something that takes gameplay, bluffing, and mind games to the next level. I can't wait for this. Enter our newest game mode, Battle Mode. It's the most fun, competitive way to play Marble Snap. Great. But what is Battle Mode? Battle Mode pits two opponents against each other through multiple rounds. Each player starts with 10 health. Instead of cubes, what's at stake is the amount of damage the winner will deal to the loser. If you can deplete your opponent's health to 0, you win. In Battle Mode, the stakes become front and center. Every snap and retreat takes extra meaning, as every point of health is critical to remaining alive. Further, each deck is locked for the duration of the battle. This means you'll quickly learn what cards are in their deck and what your opponents might be aware of, what sneaky tricks you're hiding. Keeping track of what cards in your deck you haven't seen by your opponent can make all the difference in whether you can squeeze out an extra snap. And I love these examples right here. It's turn 3, Bar Sinister appeared. Your opponent snaps. You know they're playing Green Goblin since you saw it last round. Green Goblin into Bar Sinister is amazing. If you stick around another turn, you'll lose 2 health. But if you retreat now, you'll lose only 1. But you have Nightcrawler in your hand, which your opponent has not seen yet, and your cards flip first. So you snap back and hope your opponent takes the bait. I just love this design philosophy. So here's some new information here, which we're going to get into. When coming up with more competitive head-to-head format for Marvel Snap, it was critical to us that we kept the ability to bluff tactically and retreat. If anything, it was important we bring those elements to the forefront. We also knew that over a series of games, the mind games of learning, anticipating what was in your opponent's deck and their specific play style was something that would add a ton of fun. There's pure joy in knowing what your opponent wants to do and trying to guess if they'll do it or if they'll feign in another direction. Finally, it was really important to have a mode where it was clear who was the winner and loser was. In a normal match, there's a lot of wiggle room for just how many cubes you win or lose by, and we wanted a definite winner. This is what I love about this. There are no ties in Battle Mode. Aside from proving who is the best among your friends, this will unlock the ability for the community to run Marvel Snap tournaments, and we'll get into how that probably will play out here in a moment. Mistakes along the way. While developing Battle Mode, we tried some things that ended up not working. We tried a bunch of different health values. We tried a mode where Reality Stone transferred cards in your hand before each game. Developing Unity was super easy to jump in and try out wild new ideas. Early on, we saw players playing no cards in games 1 and 2, which kind of makes sense, to scout their opponent's deck, playing a couple of health to gain critical information. Back then, health pools were much larger, so a couple of health meant very little. And as we lowered the total health, those first couple games could make all the difference. Battle Mode takes about 20 minutes, but an early play test between 2 players who retreat back and forth for a series of 1 health games, it took much longer. To keep battle around 20 minutes, we added a high stakes rounds, which kick in starting on round 5. And this is brand new. We did not know this. High stakes rounds start with stakes at 2 damage, so it's much more deadly. So this is going to speed it up a little bit, you know, because that's what I was worried about. What if you just like retreat? Well, it's going to start ramping up at round 5 with 2 damage. The other thing, this is brand new right here also. Another thing we learned was that if players took some early beats and were 1 game away from running out of health, they could snap with impunity. Since it doesn't matter if they end up at 0 or -6, a death is a death. We wanted to reward players for early victories, so now you cannot deal more damage than you have health remaining. This seems very smart. It means that coming from behind is possible, but those early victories don't become irrelevant, and bluffing aspect of the snap remains intact as your opponent cannot risk health they do not have. Fantastic. Finally, we're just getting started at launch. Battle mode will only allow players from the same matchmaking region to play against each other, working on global matchmaking that will come a bit later. And my understanding and word on the street is that a VPN will not bypass this. It's tied to the region that you are set on, let's say your device, like your Google regional settings or your iTunes regional settings is my understanding. So hopefully this changes, because I'd like to play people overseas for sure. I do think there's going to be a ton of fun. I have a lot of friends that play Marvel Snap, and we can definitely do tournaments because most of us are based in North America. Wrapping it up, we're very excited to get battle mode out to everyone as soon as we can. This has truly been a labor of love, and we can't wait to see how players enjoy this first cut of battle mode. So this information, like I said, is only in the app. There's a couple things that are only in the app too. Like if you want to participate in this 9 challenge event, which it's just mostly, unless you max it out, which is very time consuming. But basically everybody's working together to get the points so that we can get some items, right? So like it doesn't take anything, just when you're in your phone, scroll over to it in the main menu, and then you can add the points to the pool. And it's just like the other one we had. I think these events are kind of boring actually in a lot of ways. They aren't really, but I guess some people that finish in the top, that the hardcore grinders, will get a special title. But just if you're on your phone, don't forget to contribute. But for some reason you can't do it on the Steam client. Also, I just wanted to show this right here. This is a kind of a funny screenshot from somebody on Reddit where they show they had 4 rocks in their hand. And there was a question and discussion from Ben Rose, says, will you ever nerf locations? And they actually have before. They've changed locations and they've changed what they did. They have modified them slightly. We know cards are prone to getting nerfed or buffed. What about locations? Certain locations, subterranean, should be nerfed from 5 rocks shuffled and 3 or something. It's not a good design, just annoying, frustrating. There are locations that are super annoying, and they typically make those locations appear less frequently. Like Ego is supposed to be a more rare. Like Warrior Falls, which I consider to be kind of annoying location, they recently made it more rare so that it doesn't pop up as much. But notice what Ben says here, which is kind of funny. We have changed locations in the past and certainly will do so in the future. I tend to personally enjoy Subterranean as it creates some of the best bluffing moments in the game. I love snapping with a handful of rocks and watching my opponent retreat. Okay. I have mixed feelings about bluffing. I'm kind of the opinion right now that I don't know that bluffing actually is a good mechanic necessarily. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like it's kind of a tricky thing. The game is all about snapping and knowing when to snap, and it makes all the difference, almost as important as gameplay. Then also, this is an issue, which is a terrible situation, and this is a situation I've seen happen in other games, and for me, I think I just wanted to get the word out, kind of how this works, not only in Marvel Snap, but so this is not necessarily a Marvel Snap problem. It's pretty much a problem on all mobile titles. If something like this happens, accept chat charged me 3 times for the Pro Bundle last week. Support tries to get me to accept face value of $200 of gold instead because it's not possible for them to get a rerun. Beware. And so this is 100% accurate, and I found this to be true on every game that I played. Maybe things will change, but if you have a problem with a mobile game and multiple charges go through and you don't get the items you want, the developer themselves doesn't necessarily have a way of refunding you money. You have to go through the payment processor, and the payment processor is going to be Google or Apple, right? So try to get all this the title, but I got a few screenshots, interaction. I tried to buy the bundle with Snap, didn't buy. It was working on Mac OS, and then I tried a second time, same thing, moved to the mobile and it worked, but I had 3 charges, which went from pending to process within a few days. I've been going back and forth to support with email for 22 minutes to try to resolve this. The seesaw between not understanding what I'm trying to say, there's a language barrier, and literally offered to sell me gold at face value since they already had my money. And so, and we're going to look at this. Basically, they said, after they asked to give me gold, I said they could give me double the gold or a refund, but still that's not an option. Eventually, they said go talk to Apple. Yeah, that's really probably should have been brought up early in the conversation. You know, he said it was 22 messages, but yes, you just have to go to Apple, which I will. But a weak answer for a bug in game and support acting like this is really bad. This is the way it is in all games. And I think the problem also too is that other games, keep this in mind, and I don't know about Marvel Snap, but other games in the past have banned people for going to Google and or Apple and getting refunds. So for the developer to just say to go to, you know, that's what it says right here. It says, I suggest you contact Apple support for a refund. I mean, that is the correct answer. So just keep that in mind if something like that happens. And this is true of all mobile titles. So one last thing right here. I just wanted to give a shout out to this screenshot right here. I just thought this was so much fun right here. Minus 13 to 37. They got their hazmat combo. I just think this is fantastic. Wong, they had Luke Cage on the board. Wong, Mystique copies the Wong. Then Hazmat pops off, and then Odin pops off again. Only thing that would have been better is if on that location that doubles on reveal effects, and then it would have really went off. I don't know if you've seen that where it fast forwards now when you get a crazy combo. And so that'll do it. All right. I hope you like these formats for the day. I'm trying to do daily news videos on what's going on in the community, and we're going to give away freebies at the end of the video, but I've decided today we're going to do a variant. So I really hope you liked today's video, because if you did, you are in luck. For every single person that likes this video, you will get a super rare leader variant. This is not a scam. This is funny to me. So somebody on Reddit, Old Investigator, says, I like Marvel Snap, and he drew up some leader variants, and I'm going to show some of his other art. I'm going to make the case that this is still better than pixel art. Pixel art is trash. I'd rather have this than pixel art. Check out this this Cosmo one. And then he's got one here for Leech. And then lastly, we've got one for Lockjaw. All right, let me know what you think in the comment section. As always, thanks for watching, and keep on going gaming.